Conference of Bishops, Missionary Conference of Bishops, just before, no, slightly after the First World War, 1919 around. And so the office was established and it grew to take care of the Catholic education, Catholic ethos, Catholic management of schools, to ensure that the schools remain centers of evangelization. And as much as we are giving education in terms of academics, we are also taking care of this component, which is the component of evangelization. So we work with government to ensure that what is being offered in the schools is according to the government policies, the government legal framework as far as education is concerned, and also to ensure that what is being done and offered in schools is in line with the teaching of the Catholic Church. So that's my job. It's quite huge because there are also many schools.
Okay. Now, Father, you spoke about teaching also Catholic ethos. Does it mean everyone who goes to a Catholic school has to be a Catholic, or what is it, Catholic ethos?
No. We are talking about, when providing education is not easy. So we are not just looking at academic provision or provision of academic component of education. We are looking at the integral education. Also, we call it holistic education. And holistic education has a lot of dimensions. So we are talking about intellectual, moral, spiritual, emotional. So we are educating the whole person. The Holy Father talks about the head, educating the head, educating the heart, and educating the hands. When we talk about ethos, we are concerned with the growth, the development of the person morally, spiritually, and emotionally. And the Catholic ethos would help the person to be guided specifically in those lines, apart from just the academics and in the intellectual one. And so, who are those who are supposed to come into our schools? Our schools are open to any person who qualifies to learn, who is capable of learning. So any child who is capable of learning is welcome. So we are not just recruiting or enrolling Catholic learners. No, not even only from Catholic parents. No, anyone who wants to learn, as long as they are able to learn, they are taken in.
Interesting.
Maria.
Yeah. So, Father, since you're saying that it is open to everyone, even non-Catholics, because others, maybe people, they would want to know more about it, like. How open is it? Because others, they're scared. Sometimes we find that Catholic help us to. I remember I had that situation whereby my friend, she's not a Catholic, but I was taking my daughters to a Catholic school. So she said, no, through you, help me to get a form and But I said, no, it's open. Of which I did that as also being a Catholic. I helped. So most of the times they would call me as if I'm the parent to that. So I think people would, maybe you can educate more about those people who would want to. Because others, they're scared. Up to now, they're still scared. Yeah. Yes.
When I said open, the enrollment is open to every person who wants to learn. I'm talking about every person.
Yes.
So every person who qualifies. For example, if your child is in grade 7 and has done well, has passed, and we normally have what the cutoff points. So the child wants to go to this Catholic school, and we ask for the marks. We ask for the grades, and that's all. We will not ask about the religion. Okay. We will not ask about the background. We ask about the capacity of this learner to learn in this school according to the subjects that are offered in the school. Okay. But there is a component. and should I say components. The second component is, when we talk about Catholic ethos, Mr. Sidney has raised, we are looking at the activities that are done in the Catholic school. So we would want all students, learners, members of staff to attend the religious activities that have been programmed. Now, those religious activities for sure are Catholic religious activities. We want them to attend Mass. They may not receive if they don't receive. So, and we have also retreats, we have days of recollection. So they cannot say, for me, I'm SDA, so I'm not coming for prayers, because the prayers are arranged by Catholics. All the students are supposed to attend, because that is a school program. If it is arranged that we have a day of recollection for all learners, it's all learners. What we'll be talking about during that time, during the day of recollection, is not making them become Catholics. We're talking about Jesus, we're talking about God, we're talking about spiritual growth. So that's why all of them are invited, and they should attend. We have also times when we have catechism for those who want to be Catholics, but we don't force them. Those who want to be Catholics, they get permission from their parents and all that, and then we give them catechism, and when they are done, we baptize them. So we don't force. So it's open as long as they qualify, as long as they respond to the requirements.
Yeah, Father, what you are saying is very true, because I've witnessed that most of the parents and children, most of them, they are non-Catholics, but this time you find that because of, as you said, that they have to follow the Catholic, some of them, they found that during Mass, they are okay for, with the Catholics, how we, Others, they've been joined now, others, they're into the catechism class, which is a very good thing, and people are appreciating it, as you have explained. Yes.
Thank you.
Father, the Ministry of Education and her stakeholders have just introduced the new education curriculum. Kindly tell us the obvious important matters that an ordinary person needs to know about this new curriculum, beginning with a learner system from preschool to where a student enters at tertiary level.
There were so many questions in one long sentence. First of all, is the word curriculum. We have the curriculum framework, which is this book, curriculum framework, which is being done by the ministry through the Curriculum Development Center. You know where the Curriculum Development Center is, just near here. First of all, is the curriculum. It's very difficult. This is not a class. I would have started writing on the board. But the curriculum, I want to give you an example. The curriculum is like, first of all, in terms of theory, we could say the curriculum is like the soul. The curriculum is like the heart of education. The curriculum is like the engine of a car. So when it means that a car cannot move without the engine. The human person cannot be a human person without the heart. And what about the soul? It is that center. So what drives education and what makes actually education is the curriculum. You take out curriculum, there is no education. Why? Because the curriculum is what education is. So what are you going to offer? They are in the curriculum. What is it that the children are going to do after class when they are outside? For example, when they are doing a PE, used to call it PE, sports and so on. All that is in the curriculum. The courses, the subjects that they are going to do are in the curriculum. All the activities. What the teachers are going to teach is in the curriculum. And so the curriculum is the center of education. Now, there's another component to it. The curriculum is dynamic. It grows. It can't be static, because it has to move. And how is it moving? It's moving because of the changes. First of all, the changes in terms of the needs of the learner. The learner has to learn a particular course, particular subject, and apply it in his or her life. There's also the change in the society, the change in the environment. There's also the change in the nation, the needs of the country. And globally, things are changing. So what is it that you are going to learn? It is not just this. It is what is happening in you, what is happening around you, what is happening in the country, what is happening in the world. So all these happenings will be designed into or formed into subjects. For example, now we have challenges with climate. So they're talking about climate change. So that's what is happening around us as a country and also in the world. Now, you go to school, the child does not hear anything about climate change. And then he comes out, people are talking about climate change, and he's stuck. And that's why we have to go back to the curriculum and say, the engine is not functioning. Let's add something. Let's clean up and add another component. Or the heart is supposed to respond to what is happening outside so that the human person can move. So then they go, then they design, and then another. So then we have 2-3 subjects because of the changes outside. There's now internet, there's now social media, there's all those things, technology, are supposed to be included in the curriculum. So then there is the renewal of the curriculum. And so the government, the Ministry of Education, every 10 years they change the curriculum. So you hear people, why have change a zone say, where have change? But every year we change, every 10 years we change the curriculum. And then, by the way, there is the syllabus. The syllabus is like a part of, in simpler language, a part of the curriculum. This is the component which has the courses or the course and how it is going to be delivered. Okay. Then, when you have all this, it means that the curriculum has to, first of all, has to change, and they change it every 10 years. Then the syllabus is changed every 5 years. Because the first 5 years, you see how it is working, and then the next 5 years, you change again. Then the curriculum changes every 10 years. So the last one we had was designed in 2013 and was ending in 2023. Yeah, and now we are starting a new one.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that they change after 10 years.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Okay.
So
they revise it. They may overhaul the whole curriculum, or they revise part of it. But every 10 years it's revised.
Okay. So, Father, you mentioned, I think, some of the best things or changes that are in this curriculum. But for example, you mentioned something about environment and then technology. What are some of other changes that have been brought about by this new curriculum that people have to be proud of?
There are a few notable changes, but I want to mention the major one, the change. The change is a movement from the output-based, I'll explain what that means, the output-based curriculum to the competence-based curriculum. A movement from academic centered curriculum to skills centered curriculum in that language. So what does that mean? Output, you're looking at the theory and the marks that the child would get in a simpler language. So you get, for example, you learn about the grasshopper. How many legs has a grasshopper? And you say, how many legs? 6, Okay. That's fine. And you get 10 marks, 10 out of 10. Why? Because you know how many legs a grasshopper has. Then they take you out, and you go into the kitchen, and your mother says, can you cook something? I don't know. Can you plant these vegetables? I don't know. Okay, can you milk that cow? I don't know. What do you know? That a grasshopper has 6 legs.
Okay.
And 3 parts.
Okay, yeah. And you are an intellectual because you know how many legs the grasshopper has. And you can have a PhD out of it. You can study it, but is it meaningful? What this curriculum has tried to do is you go into class. First of all, they looked at what is relevant. What is relevant now in your time? Okay, which courses, in short, which courses are relevant to a learner of this time, of this century? What is it that the learner can apply in his or her life and live well, make a living, and contribute to the national development? And it's okay. These are the issues that are happening or are there in the world, and they affect this learner. So let us include them. 1. Number 2, let us see if this particular learner is able to do something. So it is being in terms of knowing, but also doing in terms of hands-on. So there is a component in this curriculum. There's a component which is theoretical. You go in class, learn the theoretical part of it. After that, the big one, you'll have to go out and practice that which you learned. And you'll be doing that. Now, we had this, I think, some time back. Those of you who went to the old school, they will remember we were in class doing agriculture, and then each learner had a portion of vegetables out to water and make sure, and the teacher for that course would be there around to supervise, and you get 2 marks. The first half of it is the theory, and the second one is what you are doing in your garden outside. So that relationship was important. That is the relationship that has been put here. So when your child is doing agricultural science, that child will not just know that you use a tractor to plow. He has or she has to see the tractor and perhaps use it.
Okay, so further meaning that this curriculum this time around, it's more not only theory, but most of the time it's even practical, so that whatever they learn in class, they also practice it.
Yes.
But what about those slow learners? What are they going to do about? Because mostly you find that in class there are other pupils who are slow learners. They just go to school, just taking their friends. We find every time a child is on number today. This term a child will pass number 60. The other time now it goes to 70. So what is it that they're going to do with these? That even if you tell them theory is this, practical they do this. Tomorrow you ask them to say, what did we do yesterday? And then the child will just like, aiba la mwana. So now, how are they going to help such so that they don't remain behind?
Yeah, I think the schools have been doing that. There is what we call assessment. The learners are assessed. They are assessed in different ways through the exams, just by interaction, and you know that this child is slow through the exams with the marks, and also through the interaction you can observe, and you can give some tests mid and even the end, beginning, mid and the end. And after one term, you are already having a clue on how this child is performing. So a child that is not performing very well, okay, perhaps in one component, they say theoretically the child is not able to grasp, is a slow learner. And then, you have to check where the child is able to grasp something, where the child is able to learn. Is it the practical part? We find someone is not able to do very well when it comes to theory, but is able to do something using his or her hands. And so there are recommendations. Are you going to, by the way, there are different levels, maybe we'll come to that. There are different levels. You come to a level where they will have to do a major hands-on subjects, major hands-on, meaning that they will have to sit even for the exam. And they will have even to give them the certificates in the hands-on. The TVET is doing that. So the technical education. In some schools it's been there, but it's going to be, we're going to ensure that it's robust and producing. So there is the assessment, and the teachers are able to classify the learners and help them to see which area they can improve, which area they can be helped.
Okay. I don't know if it's a comment or what, but what I want to say is, I think from a distance, we really fear this new curriculum. We thought, but then from what you have explained, like there's a theory part and the practical part. I personally believe practical is not easy to forget. I mean, what you've practiced, I mean, you can go, unlike theory, because it depends with the language they're using in school. Sometimes even our own language, they may tell you this, but like it enters from here, and but I mean something that you've practiced is easy to
remember.
Yes. So I wish I was in school the time they introduced.
You can still go back. There's still a lot of time for you.
I'll consider doing that next year.
Especially hands-on.
I'll consider doing that next year.
So, Father, now a lot of people may have been meeting, have in a way failed to maybe explain to them. Tell us, you've talked about exams, you've talked about practicals. How is this going to be implemented? For example, at what point does a person write exams? At what point does I heard some people saying when you enter grade 1 there will be exams in grade 4 and that will be it. Afterwards it's kurula
until grade 12, until form 5.
Yeah, you've talked about I don't know, output and what those things. Maybe explain to us.
It's really called the structure, the structure of the curriculum. We have ECE, nursery, ECE.
Early education.
So early education and early childhood and the care development for the child. So they have that reception. So at that level they teach them a few things at their level. So like they call pre-mathematics, pre-science. They teach them expressive arts, just small things, pre. Okay. And then they have some kind of an assessment to see how much they have grasped. And then they are taken into grade 1. So this year, we are starting with the early childhood. We have not as the nursery school, that level. Then they go into grade 1. Grade 1 is also new. Then from grade 1, we'll have Form 1, which is also new for this year. And then teacher education. So when they finish the early childhood, they don't have this what we call serious exam. It's just an assessment to see whether they can move into grade 1. So into grade 1, they start now. This year they will start a new curriculum, new syllabus, new assessment methods. Meaning the exams will be new for these ones. The early childhood, grade 1 and Form 1. And then they will go to teacher education. If you are going to Charles Wanga this year, then you will get the new curriculum. And so when you start your grade 1, you move up to, first of all, there is the lower primary. The lower primary is grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. We finish lower primary. Then you go to, just an assessment, it's not really exam. You go to grade 4, grade 5. Then you go to grade 6. In grade 6, you sit for the exam, primary one. And then when you qualify, you go to Form 1. It is at this level, when you are going to the secondary school, that you are exposed, the child is exposed to what we call now 8 different pathways. They don't call them subjects now. It's a group of subjects forming one pathway. So there are 8. I will not go into the details. So there are 8. And these pathways have been grouped in such a way that they have those components. The theoretical component and the hands-on or the skills or the practical component. All of them. So a child would choose. For example, one is taking a component that has to do with agriculture. So you have courses under, you have subjects under agriculture. Someone is going to choose social sciences, another component. There are courses under social science. One is going to choose natural sciences. There are courses under that. One is going to choose technology. There are courses there. And so so when you go to Form 1, you choose one of those, and then you can proceed. And that will, so each component has a practical part. So no one is saying, no, for me I don't have this, so I'm going to fail. No. So you have this one and you have this one. So there's no so the exam is at grade 6 to Form 1. Grade 7 is knocked out. Then from Form 1, you move on up to Form 4. Form 4, you finish this part. You do the exam, and now Form 4. So if you were having an exam in grade, what grade is that? Grade 9? Mm-hmm. Now that one is no more. And that's why some schools now, those which were going up to grade 9, basic, they have challenges because their learners in grade 9 who are now Form 1, they will need a Form 3. So they're saying, no, we are not going into that. So we are scrapping off the basics, so they go back to primary. Anyway, that's another thing. So in Form 4, they will sit for the exam. Okay. And then when they pass, those who pass will go to Form 5. So you have now the A levels. They have dropped the 1 year from the tertiary. For example, to the university, they have brought it. So instead of having 4 years, you'll have 3 years. Okay. If you go to UNSA, you'll have 3 years instead of 4 years. So you do your degree in 3 years. The other year has been brought to Form 6, which is A levels. Actually, they were doing the A levels the first year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you do them at the secondary school. So then you sit for the exam for you to go to the tertiary now, to the university. So those are the major components, and also the landmarks where you have to do the exam go into. There is already in offing for those who don't make it, who don't make it in terms of theory and practice at the same time and move on. It's possible for them to major afterwards. After Form 4, they can major. They can do more in the skills one. Even after, when you are in Form 1, you can already put a heavier arm on the skills one, such that when you don't make it in Form 4, you can still fix a bulb. You can still do gardening. So this kind of syllabus helps us in the sense that when you fail to move on to the next stage, it's not for nothing. You would have already learned how to use your hands and use your skills, entrepreneurship and whatever, to do something for yourself. You don't have to wait until you finish your, like we are doing, up to grade 12. You ask someone in grade 12, mwapasa imu ya kutia napasa. Mwapasa chiani, napasa mamaksi yaso. Okay, mufuna chiani chito, adizafuna depending on the circumstances. No, it's not like that. Now, when they finish their Form 4, they already know how to do some kind of entrepreneurship. They may have even a certificate in that particular field. Okay, so that's the plus side of this curriculum.
Okay, so Father, I just want to be sure, because now I plan on going back to school. Let's say like from grade 6, when you write your exams and you're going in Form 1, you said you have to choose what you be taking. So if I want to do farming or I want to go into agriculture, I'm just going to do agricultural courses. I'm not going to do anything with IT, really. This is a very good curriculum.
Yeah. So by the way,
you pass with. You just concentrate on what. There's no need for you to learn commerce, accounts, this side.
No. They are the old curriculum would have even up to 12 subjects.
I think it was confusing.
Yeah, up to 12 subjects. Now, when you are in grade 6, in grade 6, you would have already known
what you want
which pathway you are taking. Why? Because those subjects are already offered from grade 1. They are already offered. So by the time you get to grade 6, upper primary, from grade 4 up to grade 6, the upper primary, you would have already a feel of what you want to do. You want to go for physical education, sports, and it's a major thing. You can even do sports management already. You can do technology. You can do tailoring and designing, the whole term. You can do home economics. It's already there. Tourism and the hospitality industry. So one would, when that person is finishing the Form 4, though has not passed academically, but would know something about tourism, about hospitality, about even running a restaurant for yourself at Form 4. Why? Because you have learned. You have not just learned how to cook. You have learned how to manage the cooking, theoretically.
So in this curriculum, Father, there's more things that are involved. It's the skill, how one has to get a skill.
Yes.
Even if, as you have said, that no, academically you haven't passed, but at least you've got a certificate that can help the skill. Like practically. Yes, like we used to do way back, I remember, in the boarding school, those were in agriculture, there were a lot of, you do literature work, but in agriculture you do the theory and the practical. You go, you have, this is your portion, your farming. Like Messi is saying that, which is, if you want to do agriculture, you just concentrate on the same. Like those who want to do power electric, they just concentrate on that. So even if that in Form 4, they finish, meaning that even if somebody goes in the society, like us before, we used to stay in the society, as you said, somebody saying, what course are you going to do? You start thinking, okay, it will depend where, which one. Yes. Then you find that,
you help
or even say,
yes, so this one is okay, whereby you have something, you know that, okay, I'm good in power electric, I can fix this and this. Yes. You just go and which is good.
And you can advance. Yes. You can go further because that's your area of interest. But I wanted to say that you are assisted when you are in grade 6. You are already even in the upper primary school. You have the guidance and the counseling teachers. Those they will help you to see which field, which area you can take, and what you're going to do in the future. So when you and then your marks will indicate your marks will indicate already which pathway you can take. So the examination council would indicate that Messi is going will take this pathway or take that, but you will have already been guided that this could be your pathway, and then doing the examination. So if you go to this particular school, you go to this school, no name, this school, and then you find that the pathway that you may not like, or the pathway that you want is not there, then you can ask to move to another school. Because not all schools will offer all the pathways. That's another big one. So if you go to St. Mary's, our St. Mary's here, and St. Mary's is offering 4 pathways. And out of the 4, your interest, which is your interest, agriculture or natural science, it's not there. And so you can choose to go to another one where your pathway is. But you would have already been assisted to know which school has that particular pathway.
Okay, so
by,
now,
by the school.
So now for that one, Father, it also means that now, as a person is in maybe primary school, upper primary school, I mean, before going to Form 1, this person needs to know which school offers what is like favorable for him or for her from upper primary. So you identify, like you said, St. Mary's doesn't have this, then you say, okay, maybe Mpunde girls, maybe something else. But then also, Father, having mentioned that, what could be some of the challenges that can constrain this new curriculum to be fully realized?
So that's a good question. You know, there are a lot of demands. Most of the curricula in our world are not fully and effectively implemented because of many challenges. This one is being done in a phased-out approach. They have adopted a phased-out approach. So you start with this class, and then why? Because you need a lot of things in place. I just mentioned a few of them. The first one, you need to prepare the teachers. You need to prepare the teachers because the teachers are the key implementers of the curriculum. They're the ones on the ground. So they need to understand it. They need to understand everything. And not just understand, they need to develop interest. And then they have to look at the courses that they were offering. Now, the courses that we were offering are perhaps not offered in the school where they are. Which school is offering this course, and which and then have they been helped in terms of professional development? Vapunzirako pang'ono kuti vazive kuti nzotani ziri mu curriculum nature. So preparing the teachers, this is one. Now, how many teachers are in the country? Thousands and thousands, and they have to be not ka workshop ka siku limodzi. Ngoti ya curriculum kuli ma subjects also kwa syllabus. You have to assess them to see if they have developed not just interest, they have known what is there, they are able to teach it properly. No, that takes a bit of time. Like kubwerera kuchani kuteacher education kuchauzulwanga abunzireko futi, but they can't go there now. Now you have to capacitate them. That's one. Number 2, you need infrastructure. For example, in a school, you have no school. So you need infrastructure. So Sidin was running a primary school. Primary school in my classes yangati 7, from grade 1 to grade 7. So it means that zaka ziri kubwera izi siku zankala grade 7. It means primary school yanu izaka na class imozi extra, which you can turn it into a hall or whatever, for whatever means. You are okay. But then secondary school had 5 classrooms. Now zakara form 1 up to form 4, up to form 4, up to form 6.
Form 6, yeah.
Up to form 6.
So meaning that yakudala it will be 13.
From form 1 up to form 6.
Where you do A levels.
A levels. That's after grade 12 yakudala.
Yes, Father, we are getting it.
So you need
It's a bit confusing.
No, it's a bit because from what I was hearing Father saying, he's saying there will be, when one goes into Form 1, which is grade 8, then they write the exams in Form 4.
Yes, and then they go in
Form 5, where
and
they do the
A levels, and they go to Form 6.
Oh, okay. Now
You go up to Form 6.
I just reached up to Form 5.
That's why I'm going to school.
Yes, but so I'm very interested in this guy. I think this one would work for me.
So, when you had 5 classrooms for secondary school, yeah?
Yes.
Imagine you 6.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
You understand? 6. But it's not just classrooms. The hands-on. So matenga tourism and hospitality industry and so on. Kapikidwe, home economics, chani, you need full-blown kind of home economics. Matenga natural sciences, you need malab. Munalibe malab, just kaya kune. Matenga technology, funika ma computers. You need new and satellite and every not satellite is internet and so on. Matenga agriculture, you need foods for agriculture. You need space for kulima
and seeds.
And seeds. Now you make a school kanu kanani mutauni, there is not even a space to park your car. Now you need a garden for. So you will say if agriculture is tribe mujani munda,
We will not take that
we will
part.
not take that part. Now the other ones will say for us will go into sports. And they have no sports field. Most of these schools, they have no sports. They have a pempa nearby, but you can't be using that every day for each class if it's not yours. So you need these facilities. So you need infrastructure to run the competence-based curriculum. That's number 2, no? Number 3, you need teaching and learning materials. Teacher says I end the class no immediately kuti mverani. You need books because this has to be put in new syllabus and new teaching materials. But also Vana, they will need new learning materials, my textbooks. Someone has to print them. Not just printing. Someone has to write them.
It needs a lot.
Someone has to write them and print them. And how many are you printing in the whole country? Ish. So that's about, just imagine, remember my exams, 1.4 million my exams, the whole country. So 1.4 for the exams. Almost every year we have about 1 million something sitting for the exam. Slightly close or around there. All those would need textbooks. Not just in one subject, but all the subjects. Someone has to print. First of all, has to write. You can say, okay, they will not print, they will be online, whichever term you want to use. But they will need the material, a lot of work. The 4th one, you need money. Money to pay these teachers who are upgrading and systematizing the school infrastructure, the standards. Pay them, buy the materials, and you have to buy computers, for example. You have to buy materials, equipment for football, for home economics, for science, and all that need a lot of money. Now, suppose you are running a private school, you have to hand it to mouth. Are you sure you are going to build a robust, full-fledged home economics class with the equipment there? My labs are well equipped to run my sciences. And if you are talking about agriculture, do you have even a tractor to use? Or just my hoes, do you have them? Kaya. Carpentry, for example, carpentry. Do you have the workshop? Now my equipment, carpentry. And where are you buying wood, which you have to use for practice? Bricklaying, if it's offered in that particular, where will you find it? So there's a lot that is required. For now, I want to use these words deliberately. There's a lot that is required for a full and effective implementation of this thing. And that's why they have gone in phases. Kiambe hapa tuone ngatizakuanisa, tunafuna ndalama, kiambe futi hapa tuone tipitilize, paka after 4-5 years, apena tuone moment tikalire. That's the way.
So
but
now,
it's good to begin.
Yeah, it's good to begin further now. The fear I'm having is that in the first few years of implementing this curriculum, are we not as a country and more so as the Catholic Church risking try and error to our children and also for schools, for example, finding an easy way out where, for example, you say, okay, since our school is in the village, we are just going to go for agriculture, and you keep training agriculture. If this other school again finds that, yeah, agriculture is easier for us, we can do a background garden, then it's just agriculture, and then we end up producing people who, learners who, same type, throughout agriculturists, or maybe throughout those who are just doing home economics, because it's easier to get a potty. Come children, I teach you how to get shashkila, repu and what, and we're just producing those throughout.
I understand. I understand. There is first of all, we have to look at the objectives of this. First of all, there are two drivers for the curriculum. This curriculum. The first one is the 8th National Development Plan. So the government is saying, how are we going to go into national development? So national development, you need two other components. Natural resource. You need the human resource. And then they said, okay, we have abundant natural resource. We have land, we have trees, we have rain, a bit of rain. We have the sun. We have enough natural resources to develop the country. Then they look at with the second component. You need a human resource. So they go to Sydney, and Sydney, how can Mr. Sydney contribute to this national development? So then they discover that, okay, he's educated, meaning he's been to school, but then he doesn't have a skill. So then they said, okay, in our education system, let us add the skills component to contribute to the national development. Hence, the education now should have that component, which we have mentioned. But there is another one, another driver, that is the Vision 2030. Vision 2030, Vision 2030, looks like some phenomenon of some kind. But the Vision 2030 has a component on education. They said that to have a sustainable sustainable development, you need education. So people to carry this forward should be educated. The meaning that they should have theory, they should have also the practice part to sustain the development, for the development to continue. So you need the human resource that is educated with the two components, for them to run. So then they went back, the government went back now to education. How can we start? And let's start early. Let's start with the small ones. So that in 20 years, in 30 years, everyone will be educated in terms of theory and in terms of hands-on to drive the economy, but also for their own entrepreneurship and their own development. Because there's also creative thinking, there are skills. Skills, we're not just talking about agriculture, by the way. That's why I'm in the school. We're not only talking about agriculture and home economics, and we're also talking about creative thinking. We're also talking about critical thinking. We are also talking about healthcare, for example. Healthcare is also a skill, hygiene, for example, is also healthcare and hygiene. All these are skills which will be given. If in our schools, Catholic schools, to take my values here now, to add my values. So now coming back to your question, that's why monitoring and evaluation and supervision is supposed to be carried out by those entrusted with that. So I will not allow, if I were a minister, I think he's doing that, to have all the schools taking agriculture. No, they will not. They will be supervised. The schools will be guided. I don't think all the schools will take natural science. No, I don't think so. They will be guided properly so that the pathways are properly distributed, so that no child is disadvantaged in terms of distance. So if you have Northern Province, how many secondary schools do we have? How many primary schools do we have? And how many primary schools can offer this kind of, how many secondary schools more so can offer which pathways? So that a child in Kaputa is able to access that pathway, not in Lusaka, but within the province. That would be the best way to do it. And we will also in our Catholic schools, we will try to see how many are ready for which pathway, so that we can guide those who are coming asking for places. No, mwana wanafuna jana, ate mwana watu afuna akachiteko ichi na ichi. Okay, I think school amenanga ende nija ili kusolwezi o nija ili ku Livingstone bachita ichi. Nanga nachita apply aenda kuti atuno aenda but palibe place. But which interest? The interest is this one. I think anga ende kuluitikira. Try luitikira. So we can also offer that kind of guidance. So there's a lot that is expected of those in administration, but also parents. That's why parents will have to read also. This can be found online. Can read there na so that when wakafunza ama ilifuna nijite chikodi chilibu you are supposed to yes because this will help you to make vitumbua or it will help you to think properly. Exactly. Yeah. So the parents can play a very important role. That's why we say parents are primary educators of their children.
Father, just in the interest of time, how well consultative is this curriculum and how do you describe it as ZCCB?
Consultations were done at different levels. We went to 2-3 meetings ourselves at different levels for different things. So contributions were from our side were given, from many other stakeholders, faith-based meaning the religious. They were also asked to, we went to CDC for consultation, especially on RE, religious education. We went there and we had a lot of input. On the structure of it, we had also an input, the Mulungushi. So they did, and then from Lusaka they went out to the provinces and they gathered that. They did a draft. And we had to go for validation, to look at the draft to see what could be carried and what could be dropped. So they did their best. But this is an ongoing process. For example, now the curriculum is here. They are supposed to do the syllabus. And then from there, they're supposed to do the assessment methods. These are things that will continue until it is fully developed and then fully implemented. So it is not cast in concrete.
Interesting. Father, any last words to our viewers on the new curriculum? Any last words you would want to say to
I think for me, the new curriculum, which we call the 2023 Zambia Education Curriculum Framework, is a positive one. And we need to support the government towards the fuller implementation. As I said, there are a lot of demands that will need the contribution from the parents in guiding the children, contribution from the proprietors of different schools, grant-aided, private, contribution from the teachers who are the key implementers, and also contribution from the government in terms of listening to the needs of the stakeholders. So we keep listening to each other. We listen to what the government is saying about the curriculum. The government should also listen to what the stakeholders are saying, because they are the owners, the recipients of the curriculum. So if the learners and the parents do not like the curriculum, for sure that's the end of it. So we have to buy into it and see where we can go. And Kenya, by the way, Kenya has started implementing the competence-based, and they're doing very well. Yeah. So I think let's support one another to see how far this curriculum would go and how it can benefit individual learners, and also at that individual level, but at the general level, how it can develop the country.
Well, Father, thank you so much for finding time to come and educate us on this new curriculum. We actually feared it from a very, very long distance. We didn't know it's for the good and the better of the Zambian future. Well, our dear viewers, this is all we had for you on today's episode of Lumen Conversations Unscripted. Until next time, it's bye-bye.